Welcome to part 2 of my Path of Exile 2 walkthrough. In this episode, we're going to take on Act 2. There are a couple notes I want to put in first. The leveling build we're using is linked below. It's Palstron's leveling build. And then the in-game build that we're working towards is a Pillar of the Cage God by DS Farble Warble. That's the best way I know how to say it. That's also linked below. One note, though, is in Act 1, I didn't notice that I didn't put Ice Strike on my skill bar. So for like the first half of this act, or maybe a little bit more, I'm actually using the basic quarterstaff attack to kill everything, including all of the bosses. And it still goes really smoothly, which shows you like the power of builds like this. But it's nowhere near as good as if you actually equipped Ice Strike when you're supposed to. So that was my big note, is you'll see that I kind of talk about Ice Strike a little bit. And I'm kind of confused why my damage isn't so high and my attack speed's so low. And it's all because I didn't actually equip Ice Strike. So I equip it later on in this episode. You go ahead and equip it. But this is going to be a walkthrough of Act 2, including all the bosses, how to beat them, what side quests you need to do, what side quests you don't need to do, and how to optimize your run to make it really quick. Anyways, we'll jump right into it. I'll see you there. Okay, so we just got to Act 2, and what you're going to do first is you're going to talk to the hooded one, and then you're just going to head out into the area. There's going to be a little tiny city here, so this is like your town hub until you find the actual town. You can talk to Zarka if you want to, but you don't have to. And we're going to go find the Hyenic Raiders, which is just like a hyena boss. And that's basically all we have to do in this area is kill this hyena boss. This hyena boss is a bit annoying, a bit difficult, if you're on a build that doesn't have enough DPS to just kind of blast him down. And that's kind of the name of the game when you're leveling an alt character, is have enough DPS to just kind of deal with everything before it can pop up. Everything I'm wearing is a very cheap early leveling gear. And in the first video, I show you how to get it. This is Palstron's leveling build, which is going to be linked below. The video and the max roll will be linked below, so don't worry about it. Just go in there and check it out. This build can be done by absolutely any class at all. It doesn't matter what class you are. I'm leveling a Gemling Legionnaire right here, because the goal, you need to know the leveling build, and then you need to know what is your in-game build that you're going to move to. And then you got to figure out, okay, at what point am I going to transition to more of an in-game build? And I would suggest that be around Act 5 to 6 is when you're transitioning from this build to whatever your in-game build is going to be. If you do decide to stick with this build through the entire campaign, you do have to improve the defenses at some point. So if you know me, you know that whenever I go into a new area, I kind of like to hug a wall and just follow that wall all the way around the area. Here we got a rare, so I'm just going to drop a bell on him. Ah, bell's too far away from him now. So I'll just directly ice strike him. So our dodge roll is quite fast based on the necklace we're wearing. So we're going to be able to dodge roll and just get away from a lot of this stuff. The most important part of this to save time is just to group a lot of stuff up and then turn around and hit it so you do a lot of AoE damage. Okay, so here is the Hyenic Raider boss. The Hyenic Raider, you know it's the boss, well, for one, because of the checkpoint, but also all these hyenas are like listening to him, I guess you could say. Listening, worshipping, whatever. And on top is the boss. There's going to be 3 enemies on the top, 2 little adds, and there's also going to be a bunch of spear throwers up on the ledges. The spear throwers are probably the most dangerous part of this fight because they can just really knock you out. The main attack that this boss does that really hurts is right here. He does 2 forward slashes and then a final slam, and then he does charges. You can see that the hyenas up above are just throwing a lot of spears, and they can really hurt. And so try to avoid the spears as much as you can. They'll kind of come in a straight line and hurt you. So here is that final slam. And if you don't dodge that final slam, that can really one-shot you. Okay, so let's just go ahead and take care of this boss. If you're following the build I'm on, you should be able to take this guy out pretty easily. We're going to drop a bell and just start annihilating his health. So you can see he's frozen now, and we're just kind of beating him down. So the only thing you can do to really increase your DPS here, besides stacking strength, which is what I've been doing, is you can also get some more... Oh, I almost died to nonsense. You can also get some more dexterity. Dexterity is going to increase your attack speed. So if you check out our Pillar of the Cage God staff, you'll see that you get 2% increased attack speed for every 5 dexterity. So basically, for every dex that you're putting into your skill tree, you're getting attack speed. So once you feel like you have enough damage that you're killing stuff pretty easily, start putting some points into dex to be able to actually attack faster. And the faster attacks will also increase your damage, obviously. Okay. So we're just going to head to... Oh. We're looking for Zarka. There she is, Zarka. So actually, for this next skill point, I am going to get some dexterity. So we got our second level 5 skill gem. That's not super important to us now because we're only using 2 skills. The only other skills we're really going to be using besides Ice Strike are going to be Heralds. We have our first Herald, Herald of Ice, and also Tempest Spell, of course. So let's see. Let's make sure Tempest Spell is level 5. Tempest Spell is very important. So Tempest Spell is already level 5. Tempest Fury is a skill that we'll be using much later into the game, but we don't need it right now. Once you get to the caravan, once you talk to Zarka and get to the caravan, you're going to go talk to the Sekima. Once you talk to the Sekima, she will walk into the room and you'll talk to her again. Okay, hit the desert map, and the first place you're going to go is going to be to the Halana Gates, which is just, you know, like, it's going to be closed. It's going to be very quick here. We're not going to stay here. You're just going to go in, find out the gates are closed, come right back out. So we're heading in.
Something's up.
The Halana Gate.
And you talk to her. And let's head back in. Now we're going to go talk to her again, and we're going to use the map to travel to the Mawdun Quarry. And so that is over here for me. So you'll notice where you need to go based on the little quest icon. That's how you can kind of tell, because this won't be the same for you. This map kind of mixes itself up every time you come here for some reason. I don't know why. But anyway, so you'll take the caravan over to the Mawdun Quarry. And we're actually gonna, from the Mawdun Quarry, there's nothing important in here except for the exit to the Mawdun Mines. I think it's called the Mawdun Mines. Let's find out. Yeah, it's the Mawdun Mines. So the Mawdun Mines are what we're looking for. Grab your waypoint and your checkpoint. All you got to do is get close enough to activate it. Just don't accidentally run past it, just in case you need to come back or teleport around. So we got a rare enemy right here. The rare enemies are the only ones that I'm actually going to like kind of stop for. As I've said many times in my last video, do not leave any superior items behind in the campaign. You can deconstruct superior items to get armor scraps, and then weapon scraps to whetstones and stuff. And what that does for you, what that does is that is going to give you, those items are worth like, I think it's like 2 to 1 for how much they're worth on Exalts. So I hit 3 dead ends in a row, so I guess the way we need to go is this way. Okay. It's so much fun. If you're using this build, it's a really simple build to use. It just kind of explodes everything on your screen. When you kill one thing, it's very hard for everything else to live, especially if it's a low-level enemy. And especially when we get to level 27, we're going to transition to a new helmet, and that new helmet is going to absolutely slap. Another thing we're going to do when we get back to town is we're finally going to add support gems to our skills. So that's going to be really exciting for Act 2. We're finally going to add support gems. We could have done this from Act 1, but I wanted to kind of show Act 1 raw with no support gems, just kind of take you through it. But support gems are going to scale us up a lot. Now, this is leveling an alt character, so I assume you already have a lot of level 3 support gems from doing like higher level content. And so I'm not going to go through like what support gems come from what levels. I'm just going to have I already have all the support gems. I'm just going to put them in, and I'm going to assume that you have level 3 skill gems to just kind of get every support you want, as opposed to trying to figure out which ones are level 1s, which ones are level 2s, which ones are level 3s. So anytime we see a rare enemy that doesn't die right away, that's when a bell comes out, and a bell will take those people out right away. Upgrading our flasks throughout the campaign is going to be really important, so make sure you're picking up some flasks. You don't have to pick up all of them, but just a couple here and there. And you'll see we'll gain XP very quickly, and we will get through the campaign very quickly. So we got another rare enemy. This rare enemy is going to die very quickly, but we'll drop a bell anyway. You can see I'm kind of standing in fire there. Don't do that. So for this guy, definitely dropping a bell on him because he is a tanky boy. Your bell is where a lot of your damage is going to come from. Like, if you can't kill something in like 1 or 2 hits, it'll die to your bell quickly. So very soon we're gonna start stacking attack speed, because I'm seeing my attack speed's a little low, and that's not going to affect me very much on ads, but it is going to affect me on rares and bosses. So you can see most of these ads are gonna die like in 1 hit, and they're just gonna die right away. So I'm breaking my own rule. I always grab a wall and follow it, and I didn't do that. And now I'm just kind of out here in the middle, and I don't really know what the right direction is. So I'm just going to stick to this wall, and by sticking to that wall, I found my next area. See, even the magic versions of those big dudes with those circles over their head, wheels over their heads, shields, whatever you want to call them. I'm going to call it a wheel. Yeah, I'm going to call it a wheel. They can hit hard, but also the magic versions can tank a lot of damage too. You can see they're actually the only enemies really surviving more than 2 or 3 hits from me. Okay, so now that we're in this next area, I'm pretty sure the exit's going to be somewhere over here, but let's just grab this wall and follow it. It's looking like this might be a dead end. Oh, but it might lead somewhere. Never mind. But I just like to grab a wall and stick to it and just kind of follow it all the way around and not really run through the middle of a map too much. I think running through the middle of a map is kind of like wasting a lot of time. And hey, by following a wall, even though I thought it was a dead end, we found the next area pretty quickly. So we don't have to find anything else in this next area either. You'll see side content in these areas. Like, let's open this up and see if there's any side content here. Okay, there's no side content here, so we don't have to worry about any. But you'll see side content in the areas, and it's totally unnecessary. You don't have to do it. So for this one, I'm going to grab this left wall, and I'm just going to follow it. And we can already see that it led to a dead end here, so I'm going to keep following this wall back out here. And I do my best not to backtrack very much, unless I hit a dead end. And even if I'm like, oh, that way looks like it's right, I try not to change path too much unless I'm really, really positive, just because it generally wastes a lot of time, you know. So I'm just going to continue following this left wall. I can see down to dead end, so I'm going to follow this left wall up. And when I say left wall, what I'm referring to, if you can't tell, because my brain kind of works a little different, is this wall. So when I entered, the wall on my left was right here, and I just kind of followed this left wall all the way around to up here, and now I'm going to follow it like down here, and I'll just keep following that wall, and I'll outline that wall until I can't outline it anymore. But generally speaking, by doing that, I'll find the boss, as opposed to running through the middle of the map randomly, you know. And it's the same thing, like, this is a cave, which makes it a little bit weirder to, like, outline a wall. It doesn't make as much sense as, like, an open area. If it was an open area, like just a giant square map, for example, I do the entire outside of the map first, and see, I'll still stick to this left wall. I'll come back up here, and I'll get back on this left wall. So there would be, like, I would outline an entire wall, then I would do the middle. It's kind of like doing a puzzle. I used to say it was like a coloring book, and I would color the outside first and then color the inside, but somebody told me it's more like a puzzle, where like I do the border of the puzzle first, and then I do the middle of the puzzle if I need to, because you don't have to do the full puzzle in this game. And not every zone has stuff in the middle that's worth doing. Most of the stuff is going to be on a wall somewhere, you know. Now, there are the maps that do have stuff on the side or in the middle. I will be doing that, and I will be explaining that as we get there. And kind of like my methodology. I think a really good example is Act 3, not the Jungle Ruins, and the Infested Baron, actually, I think are really good examples of maps that have, like, and the Chimera Wastelands are maps that have really good examples of, like, how using the wall method can really save you a lot of time, but also at the same time can still lead to you exploring the entire map just based on RNG. Okay. So, very quickly, I will take a short break to go sell this item. Okay, so we're back in the Mawdun Mines. This is a dead end, so we're going to go back and we're going to continue tracing this left wall. And you can see that this left wall leads to another dead end up here, which is kind of where we came from initially. And now we're going back. And I'm just going to continue following this wall. And I mean, the more you backtrack, the more time you're wasting. Like, let's say I went the wrong way. I could run around this map all day going down random corridors and not completing them and being like, oh, I need to go back the other way or something. And you're just going to add a lot of time it takes to your maps. That's just how it is. So we found the boss right here. So I just traced that left wall all the way from the beginning to here, you know, and eventually we found the boss. You probably could have done the same thing with the right wall and made a circle on this side, but we're at the end of this area. So this boss is kind of fun. It's a very simple boss, just a fire boss who puts a lot of AoEs and stuff around him. So you can see that was a flashbang. And you can see, like, if you just want to sit here with our build and damage this guy, you're going to absolutely blow them out of the water. But I'm going to stop damaging real quick so I can show you some stuff. So right there, he threw a bunch of gas or oil grenades around, and then he set them on fire with his spinny flamethrower. And now there's burning ground on the ground. So if I go to that burning ground, I'm going to get set on fire. Now he threw gas grenades, and this is his big attack. This is his big attack slam. Right, he's going to do a final big slam. There it is. And if you get hit by his final slam instead of getting away from it like I did, you take a ton of damage. But anyways, he just throws a lot of grenades around. He has gas grenades, he has oil grenades, and then he shoots his flamethrower to set the stuff on fire. A pretty straightforward boss fight, really nothing too complicated. Let's free her. So you talk to her real quick, and then we're just going to instantly teleport back to the caravan. And we do have a new jewel socket open in our build. So let's go ahead and we're going to add in some stamina points. So we're going to add, or sorry, dexterity is what I meant. So I'm just going to add in 2 more dexterity nodes. And I just want a little bit more attack speed. Not so much that not so much that it's like I'm like attacking like like a million times. I just want a little bit more to kill bosses a little bit faster. Because I really just want to stack my strength as much as I can to get more actual damage, so we can just blow up giant AoE packs, because that's what we're going to deal with AoE packs a lot more than we deal with bosses. So real quick, I do have some jewels set aside. The next jewel I want to put into my gear is actually going to be, let's see where it is. Where'd I put it? Maybe I put it in leveling gear. Okay, so I'm going to put in a 7% increased damage with quarterstaffs, 4% increased attack speed with quarterstaffs, and that's and then you also got damage penetrates 9% of lightning resist, and 5% chance to poison on hit. Those are not important. I'm really just going for the attack speed and the attack damage with quarterstaffs. But at the end of the day, like I said in the last video, you're really just looking for, if you, on your jewels, you can just get raw stats. Like if you can get intelligence, dexterity, strength, go for that. I've never crafted a dexterity, intelligence, strength jewel, so I've never seen one. I haven't bought one on the market or anything. So okay, we're done with that. So what we're gonna do is, once we get done talking to the lady in the Mawdun Mines, she is now here, and we're gonna talk to her again. And now we're gonna talk to the Sekima again. So this is gonna start our trip to Traitor's Passage. And Traitor's Passage is where we're gonna get our first chance to get an Ascendancy. So we're gonna do that Ascendancy almost immediately. And I will give you a walkthrough through the Ascendancy too. Okay, so here we go. First waypoint, Traitor's Passage. Let's go. And again, you can kind of just run past a lot of stuff, especially with a good build. And then you can just turn around and blow it all up when it kind of groups up behind you. So this was a dead end already, no problem. You can see my attack speed is getting it's getting noticeably faster, but it's still very, very slow. Very, very slow. But the damage itself is there. And you can see it's just super easy to kill stuff in AoE packs. I mean, obviously, like, these single target monsters are a bit more annoying, but it's not a big deal. So I'm just following this left wall again. And there are 2 things we're looking for in this area. We're looking for Baba Ganoush, and that's what I call the lady who is like the genie in charge of the Sekima trials. I call her Baba Ganoush because I always forget her real name. Okay. So Baba Ganoush, you're not going to find Baba Ganoush until you find the Traitor's sign. So there's like a sign, a note, like a lore note somewhere in here that's like, talks about traitors and stuff. And again, with this necklace on, dodge rolling is way better than running. Even though I don't do it as much as I should. Okay, so my wall is going straight here, so I'm going to continue going straight. Even though, you know, my gut tells me this is the wrong way. But I'm going to follow it because, you know, you can just second guess yourself all day and then still go down the wrong path. So my gut was right, but that's a-okay. So this is the first area where you can see I'm kind of taking a little bit of damage. And the big thing here is these enemies aren't grouping up very much because they're so big. Their bodies aren't really staying next to each other. And then they're also doing range attacks at me, which is causing me to take a bit more damage than I would like from those range attacks. But still no big deal. So now I've come back and I'm just following the left-hand wall again. Or, well, you know, just kind of pick a wall and go with it. I keep saying left-hand wall, and what I'm referring to is to my character's left. So which would be this wall right here. Or that's to my character's right. So I guess the left as I'm facing the character, you know, I'm looking at the character and this is on the left. So is what I guess I meant. But not actually my character's left. But at the end of the day, it's not important if it's left or right or whatever. It's just like whichever wall you're following. Or you could just randomly run around. I mean, that works too. Like, honestly, there's no science to the madness. I like to put a little bit of reasoning behind what I'm doing. And, you know, maybe it's good, maybe it's bad. Like, in my heart, I want to go to the right there instead of to the left. And again, I'm saying that from my perspective, not my character's perspective. And the reason I wanted to do that is because I was like, oh, I really feel like the boss could be down there, and she might be. And see, this was just a dead end, but it had a treasure chest at the end of it. So this was like a little treasure area. So if I had a checkpoint somewhere else close by, an unexplored area, I could checkpoint over there. Okay. So, we are pretty close to going back to town and putting in skill gems. So, that is actually what I'm about to do. I'm tired of this attack not being as good as I want it to be. So, let's go back to town and let's put in some skill gems. And you'll see a huge change in all of my abilities when we put in the, support gems, okay? And all we're going to use is lesser Jeweler's Orbs on our skills right now. So we're just going to have a 4-socket instead of a 5-socket. I could go buy some 5 sockets, but I think that that's a little beyond the scope of this video. So I'm not going to do it. Also, if you want to, you can use that skill gem you just got to upgrade your Tempest spell. Okay, so I only have... we're not using Quarterstaff Strike at all anymore, so I only have 3 skills right now. And at the end of this, we're only going to have 4 skills with this build. The only skill we don't have right now is Herald of Thunder, okay? So first things first, we're going to use these lesser jewel sockets on the gear, and then inside the gear sets, inside the leveling gear, I've actually already bought the skill gems for each skill, okay? So I'll walk through this as slowly as I can, but again, Palstron's leveling build will be linked below, and all of this is in that leveling build. So the first thing that's going to go inside of Ice Strike is going to be Martial Tempo. And this is a 25% increase to attack speed. And this is one of the biggest reasons I wanted to come back and put this in, is because I'm tired of the slow attack speed. The next support that's going inside of Ice Strike is Primal Armaments. And this does 25% more weapon elemental damage, so that'll be the cold damage that we're doing right now. The final thing I want to do is put Rage. So, supported skills grant 3 Rage on melee hit. And so every time I hit an enemy, I'm going to get a Rage. And Rage grants me 1% more attack damage per 1 Rage gained. And I can get up to 30 Rage. So I lose 1 Rage every 0.1 seconds if I've not taken damage or gained Rage in the last 2 seconds. and then only one hit every 0.5 seconds can cause you to gain rage. Okay, so that's kind of how that works. We can get stacks up to 30 of this, and we'll see how quickly we actually get stacks. Oh, sorry, I put in the wrong skill. I put in a concentrate effect. I meant to put in rage. Okay, so now rage is on this, and you can see my attack damage has gone up quite a bit. It went up quite a bit with more damage, and so basically, if you take out all of these skills, you can see it back at its base damage. You can see it's at 800 DPS, and then we put all the skills in, it'll be up to 1200. And Rage actually won't change the sheet DPS until I get stacks of Rage. So as I'm getting those stacks of Rage, it'll actually change the sheet DPS that I'm doing, okay? So moving on to the next skill, Tempest Bell. Tempest Bell is going to have overabundance, and this is going to give me a +1 to the limit, but they have 50% less effect duration. So Tempest Bell is going to go away quicker, but I'm actually going to be able to throw down more of them. So I'll be able to throw down 2 at a time instead of 1 at a time. Heavy Swing, and some people say Heavy Swing doesn't boost Tempest Bell damage, but it does. So supported skills have 35% more melee damage, and they have 10% less attack speed. So what people say is that Heavy Swing only affects the impact damage. So this damage right here, impact is like when you drop the bell, the damage it does. But you can actually see if you look at Shockwave, which is 329 damage per use. When we put Heavy Swing in here, we go back to Shockwave and it went up to 380. So it affects the impact, but it also affects the Shockwave. And so you can see from the page that it actually does help. Finally, we're going to use Concentrated Effect, which gives it a bigger area, gives it more damage, but a less area of effect. So we're really just using Tempest Bell on rares and on top of bosses. And that's a very small circle, so you don't need this big old circle for your Tempest Bell, because we're not using it on ads very much. I mean, you can if you want to. Okay, so Herald of Ice is what gives us that explosive damage off of the enemies. And we're going to do +1. We're going to do Cold Mastery first, which just increases the level of it. So it's level 4 right now. It goes up to level 5. And you can also see that from here where it says it has +1 from support gems. Then we're going to put in Magnified Effect, which increases the area of effect. So those ice explosions are going to be 40% larger. So now, you remember those spiders were a little far spread apart? Well, now they're still going to get hit by this attack. The final thing is Long Shot. Supported skills deal 35% more damage to enemies further than 7 meters from you, scaling down to no bonus at 3.5 meters or closer. So what this means is we're going to kill the enemies right in front of us, and they're going to explode, and they're not going to take extra damage from the explosion, but as it chains out, it's going to do more damage to enemies. So very cool. And those aren't the support gems I would use on these skills in the end game, just during this part of the game. And if you want to, you can talk to, this lady right here too, just to get her quest or her dialogue done. She doesn't have a quest right now. Okay, so now that we put the support gems in, we'll see a big increase in the damage and the speed that we're going with this skill. So that is leading to a dead end. Very nice. So we can see we've made a whole circle. So now there's really only one way to go at the moment. I think it's going to be a choke point into the next area anyway. Okay. So this is the Decree of Imprisonment I was talking about. This is like that thing I was saying, you can't find Baba Ganoush before you find this. Balbala, Baba Ganoush. And, you have to find that before you can find her, just because that's how it's supposed to be to set up. Okay, so we just opened another jewel socket. So basically that means that we can put another jewel in. You know what I just realized? I just realized I didn't go the correct way on my trees at all. My skill tree, I should have gotten my attribute nodes first. So we're gonna start getting my my big star attribute nodes under Gimling Legionnaire next. So when I get another level, I'll show you what I'm talking about. Okay, so we're just killing a couple little spiders here. You'll see these skeletons just explode. All of this is gonna explode. It's gonna be awesome. Yes. And now we're just looking for Baba Ganoush. We're looking for Baba Ganoush, and then we're looking for the exit to this area. And I think we might have just found Baba Ganoush, but I'm not positive.
What was the point, eh?
This could just be the exit. Here we go. Here's the exit to the area. We already have the checkpoint to the exit, but another thing we can do is we can just head in and we can get the waypoint and then we can come back in. So that's kind of the two ways that we can travel back here quickly. So we can get the waypoint. Let's head back into Traitor's Passage. And we also have this checkpoint. So we have two ways of traveling back to the Halana Gates whenever we're ready. And now we know that Baba Ganoush is probably going to be over here somewhere. So now we can just head in that direction. And this gives us time to talk about drugs. They're bad. Okay, don't do drugs, okay. Okay, Mr. Mackey, okay. I just rewatched, like, season 1 of South Park a little bit ago. And it has, of course, the episode where Mackey... Well, where you meet Mackey for the first time, obviously, but then also where he gets fired from being a school counselor because he passes out weed so people can smell it. He's like, smell the weed so you know what it smells like so you don't do drugs, okay? And then, of course, like, he's like, okay, hand it back in. And it's like, you know, nobody has it. And he thinks one of the students stole it. And so he gets fired. And then it was Mr. Garrison the whole time. Okay, okay. So we're coming up to Baba Ganoush right now. So, here's Baba Ganoush. She has a pretty cool, you can tell all of these ancient sills are here. Like, you know, sills like, trying to keep bad things out or keep her in, probably. And then you have these runic sills around her. So she's a very unique boss where you actually have to release these sills to free her. And she's kind of fun. She's really kind of just a tank and spank, just attacker. And she really only has one thing you need to look out for, and that's when she disappears. So I'm going to take her down, and I could have dropped a second bell there and just shredded her, but I want to take her down. So she does poison damage. And the reason I want to take her down is I want her to disappear so I can show you that mechanic. So right here, poison starts coming out of this well, and you have to find her. She's invisible somewhere. You just run around the whole map till you find her, and once you start fighting her again, all the poison disappears. But if you don't find her in time, she'll actually cover the entire arena in poison, and you'll die to poison damage. So that's basically the whole fight. She does some frontal poison throws. She does a lot of jumping around, but she doesn't do anything crazy. But what you get from her is you get your very first trial of the Sekima, and that will be how we get our first Ascendancy. And we also got a level 6 uncut skill gem, which we don't need because we already have both of our skills up to level 6. So we don't need it. Okay, so now, instead of heading back through here, like, why am I trying to head back through all these spiders and stuff? We can actually grab this checkpoint. Where did all these spiders come from? Why are they all, like, spawning here? We can grab this checkpoint and just head to the Halana Gates. And this area is kind of fun. So this area, what we're looking for is we're looking for choke points, which are bridges. And there's also a side thing in this area that I don't very often do or look for, but we might run into it. It's called the Commander's Tent, and it's just a little side boss slash loot. But all that's going to happen is the Sekima is going to be opening these gates, and you have to fight the enemies that spawn up here while she's opening the gates. And it's just really, it's pretty easy. But you can see down there is her caravan that we've been riding on this whole time. So we're opening the gates to let the caravan through. Oh, I had to get some water. Okay. So, now we're just heading to the next bridge where she's going to pull another lever. And this is just like every other area. We can ignore these enemies if we want to. Oh, don't ever leave superior items behind in the campaign. I've said that many, many times. Because you need to deconstruct them for the shards. And you get the shards are worth a decent amount of exalts. So it's honestly your best way of gaining exalts through the campaign to give you money to level up in the end game is by picking up all the superior items. Like, obviously, you'll get some raw exalts drops. Like, earlier, I got a chance orb off the ground, which is honestly one of my better finds inside the campaign. My best find inside the campaign was perfected jeweler's orb, which at the time when I found it, sold for like a couple hundred exalts. I mean, I want to say it was like over 300, maybe like 400 exalts. But that was with a friend, and we had group rarity, and he also had quite a bit of rarity on his gear going through the campaign just naturally. He didn't try to get it, and I wouldn't recommend focusing on rarity through the campaign, because it's just you have to get rarity in the end game. You really don't have a choice. You're gonna feel. I was trying to attack the Sekima. You're gonna feel really bad in the end game without rarity until they patch it. But you don't have to get rarity in this part of the game. Okay. Give these demons no quarter, it says. Okay. So, we're pretty easily just killing all of this stuff, and we're looking for the final bridge. So we've already gotten 2 bridges. Now we're looking for the last one. And the next bridge is always going to be on the other side of the bridge you cross. So don't go back across the old bridge to look for stuff. You know, the only thing that you can find in this area is the commander's tent or whatever it's called, general's tent, commander's tent, something like that. And all it is a side boss and loot. Really not worth your time to do. Unless you're like a completionist, but even as a completionist, I don't think you need to do that stuff. Okay, so this is the 3rd bridge. You can see the little spinny thing is actually broken already, so we can't open it. So we're going to go to the final boss of this area. This boss has a lot of interesting attacks. He does a frontal shock like that. He also does a frontal slam, where he does a slam in a circle, and then it's a donut. So right here, or no, not right there, sorry. This is just where he's kind of swinging around at you. And then he said, "You are not worthy," and he summoned this electric ball on the ground, and it just kind of floats around towards you, so just keep moving and it won't get to you. And then I'm waiting for that big slam move he does. Let's try to phase him a little bit. Okay, I'll stop it right there. And so he said Wrath of a King right there. Okay, so here's where he slams in front of him, and then you have to get inside of where he just slammed to avoid the next attack. Okay, so that's basically all of his big attacks. We'll go ahead and kill him now. So you can see I'm throwing down multiple bells, and how I'm doing that is because I have that thing that lets me have multiple bells. The +1 to the limit of bells, so I can throw down 2 instead of 1. And that really helps in the campaign. I'm not sure if it's worth it in the end game, but I don't think it actually is, but it's really good in the campaign. Because in the end game, you really just want a really strong... You want a really strong single bell. You don't really want 2 mediocre bells. Okay, so once you beat that boss, just head out the stairs, run all the way to this. You're gonna run down this area till you get to like a checkpoint, which you don't actually have to hit, but you'll just get to this sand wall. And so now it's time to go back to the caravan. So we're just gonna hit the caravan by teleporting back to base, and we're done here. And now we get to my favorite part of Act 2. My favorite part of Act 2 is actually this segment of Act 2, because I think it's interesting how they did it. I enjoy how they did it. Okay, so she tells you what to do next, and we got our first level 7 skill gem, which is gonna let us get level 7 Ice Strike, which we can't get because we're under-leveled. And being under-leveled is a good thing. You wanna, if you're coming into content under-leveled, it means that you're going through the content quickly and without much trouble. But I'm gonna go ahead and keep that level 7 skill gem in my inventory so I can use it. Okay.
Yes, I am a Sala. Remain afraid.
So here, what happens is there are 3 different areas you can go to now. So you can either go to the Mastodon Badlands, Mastodon Badlands. Oh, my bad. Keth, the City of 7 Waters. So you can, the City of 7 Waters, Keth. Thief of Ivory, I guess a Theft of Ivory is the mission. No, I guess it's... Okay, anyways. Or you can go to the Valley of the Titans. So you want to do the Valley of the Titans last, and the reason you want to do the Valley of the Titans last is there are 2 relics you get from these 2 zones that you need in the Valley of the Titans to get a permanent buff to your character. So the first place we're going to go is the Mastodon Badlands. And the Mastodon Badlands is going to be 2 zones. It's the shortest of all of these. Titan Grotto is also only 2 zones, but you do have to do a lot of like looking around in the first zone to get everything. So grab your waypoint. Always make sure you hit your waypoint. And it's actually important to the waypoint here just in case you mess up and you don't end up getting your, let's say you don't get your relics that you need. So you can get your relic in, I think you can only get it in the second area of this thing. Don't try to grind for it in this area. I've never gotten the drop in this area. I'm not saying you can't, but I don't think you can. You might be able to. I haven't seen it, so I wouldn't fight anybody on it, but I will tell you, my suggestion is make your way to the second area. Those zealots are a big pain in the butt even in the end game. They can summon meteors on top of you that just do a lot of damage to you. So if you see a zealot flying in the background, make sure you take them out. Those are the ranged enemies you really need to worry about here. The other ranged enemy that is coming up soon that you need to worry about, well, there's 2 of them. There are liches, and then there's water hags. Okay, so this is a mana donut, and you always want to be inside the mana donut if you're a melee. Okay. If you're inside, like inside is safe and outside is safe, but if you're in the middle there where the line is, you'll lose all your mana. Okay, so this dude's just kind of gonna charge at me and then die for some reason. And again, I'm tracing one wall all the way around. We're not looking for any side stuff in there. That was a meteor summoned by this zealot right here. So anytime you see a meteor, you know a zealot's somewhere nearby. Unless there's a meteor shrine. A zealot also just buffed that dude. Oh, well, I thought he did. Maybe it was like a ghost or something. So anyways, just tracing this wall around. So... I was hoping to kind of get past those 2 without really fighting, but I got stuck. So we got another zealot back here. Zealots are, again, like the character... Okay, so now I would kill the zealots first. So now we found the bone pits. Head into the bone pits. The first thing we're looking for in here is the Mastodon and Summoner boss fight. So in the bone pits, you'll fight a Necromancer who summons a Mastodon, a dead Mastodon, to fight with him. And again, I'm just going to kind of follow this wall around. You can just run through the middle if you want to, but I like to just kind of follow a wall. I'm not really going to go out of my way to... Oh, wait, never mind. So in this area, you need to kill stuff, because in this area, you can actually get a relic. We're looking for a clan relic in here. I forget which clan it is, but when we find it, we'll know. It's like the Kabala clan, I think. So we actually might have... Okay, this is not the boss. This is just another area. So, since we got a couple skill points, I actually messed up. We should have been doing this skill tree ASAP. So this skill tree just gives you plus to all attributes, and then it gives you 2% increased attack damage for your lowest attribute, or for per 5 of your lowest attribute, and then it also gives you a 10% increase to all attributes, so it's a really, really good tree. All I do is I go this way and I get this, and then I go this way and I get this. I don't get these 3, because they're just reduced attribute requirements. But I'm going to be right back. So right now we're just looking for the boss of this area. We're also looking for a relic. Hopefully we find the relic before we find the boss. Just so that means right when we kill the boss, we can just leave. But if we don't, it's not a big deal. We can always keep grinding. Hey, we found, okay, so it's the Sun Clan relic. So the Kabal or whatever relic is from the other area. So now that we have that relic, all we have to do is find the boss, and then we can get out of here. So just continue hugging a wall. Okay. Ooh, I was hoping that I would be able to get a little... I was hoping the skill would kind of move me a little bit closer to those enemies. This skill, I thought this skill had more of like a teleport attack to it, but I guess not, like a little teleportation. So this is the boss fight. Make sure you kill the Mastodon first, okay? Do not kill the Summoner first. If you kill the Summoner first, everything in this area just goes to shit. So pretty easy to kill the Mastodon. Just throw a couple bells down. And now all we have to do is take out the Summoner. The Summoner's a lot easier to kill. So just stay out of this big fire attack. And you can see I was standing between them and still I got hit by them. And for some reason right there, my bell wasn't being hit. I was hitting the boss instead of hitting my bell. Just make sure you keep throwing your bell down, keep hitting your bell. And I could have done that fight a lot faster had I hit my bell more and had I dropped my bell more. I had a lot of opportunities to drop bells that I didn't take. Trying to do these fights a little bit slower than I would normally do just to like show you how they're done. I'm still going a little bit faster than I think like a new player would get through, but I think if you're playing an alt character, which is kind of what this guide was intended for, where you already have some experience, you'll be fine. You'll be able to blow through a lot of those quickly. Okay, so we actually got a quilted vest, which is hilarious because that's actually, this is the item we use to level. And we got some mid rolls on it. It's pretty bad. So anytime I get a good leveling item, all I'm going to do is I'm going to put 2 sockets or however many sockets I can into it, and then I'm going to corrupt it. And I'm going to hope I get a good roll up here. Increased evasion rating is not a very good roll, but I'm just going to throw it in here with my other ones. And just hold on to it until I decide to either sell it or deconstruct it for a chance shard. So the next place we're gonna go. So we had the Mastodon horn in our inventory, and we talked to Zarka to get rid of it. So talk to Zarka. The next place we're gonna go is the City of Seven Waters. This place, if I'm not mistaken, has 3 areas instead of just 2, and it's a little bit harder than the Mastodon Badlands, in my opinion, but it's not too hard. There's just a couple things in here that can be a little bit difficult, but not a big deal. This first area, there's nothing in this first area worth doing. There's no real side content worth doing. You have the Abandoned Shrine, but you actually, sorry, my bad. We have Kabala, the Constrictor Queen, in here. We have to do her. She gives us skill points. So in here, we're having our first taste of Liches. Liches are summoners. They're necromancers that summon stuff from the dead, and those will be your priority targets in this area. Anytime you have a necromancer in an area, you want to take them out first. But 1, they'll infinitely summon enemies, and then 2, they have a tornado attack they can summon, and that tornado attack can follow you for a long time, and it does quite a bit of damage if it hits you. So anyways, just again, I'm just kind of following this wall here, and we'll just look around, and we're looking for Kabala, the Constrictor Queen, which she is, yeah, this is her, the Venom Pits right here. Make sure anytime you're fighting a boss, make sure you hit their checkpoint before you fight them, because in case you die, you want to be able to respawn right there. So let's hit her a couple times, and then we're going to put our bell out. She should freeze pretty soon. And now I'm going to put a second bell out, put another bell out, and our goal is to just freeze her and continue to put bells out, and then just, you know, wail away on her. And so we froze her, then we stunned her. We got our Book of Specialization. Make sure you pick up the Book of Specialization and right-click it to get your skill points. And let's go ahead and put those skill points in on the tree. Anytime you see something like this, like stairs right here, there's nothing under there. It's just lore. It's just maybe a little bit of loot. Don't worry about doing it. It's really not worth your time. And now all we're doing is we're tracing the outside of the map to find the exit. So we're just going to hang on the outside of the map until we find an exit. And lo and behold, we found an exit. I was ready to say not an exit, but I was hoping it was the exit. Okay, now we are in the Buried Shrine. And from the Buried Shrine, you can see we have one more zone to get to, which is, sorry, we are in the Lost City. We're looking for the Buried Shrine. Okay. So this area is pretty straightforward. There is a jeweled scarab in here that can be a little difficult, and the reason it's so difficult if you fight it is because it summons a bunch of little ads out at you. With the build we're using, ads are no problem at all, but if you're running a build that maybe doesn't do ads so well, maybe avoid the jeweled scarab. And you can avoid it by basically not going through the middle, I think, kind of like we just did. Then again, this whole area is ad heavy, which I love. I love all the ads in this area because this is the first area where you really start exploding a ton of stuff. Like, especially if you find the room where all of the statues come to life at the same time. Oh my god, it's so good. So much fun. Okay, so here we're just taking out a couple things. We found that cool shrine that gave us a spirit gem, and that spirit gem can actually power us up quite a bit. So that will increase our power on Herald of Ice. So we love increasing our power on Herald of Ice. So there we go, Herald of Ice right there, upgrade it. You're not going to get spirit gems as often as you're going to get skill gems, but that's okay. Because when you do get the spirit gems, you're going to get a nice little boost from them. And then in Act 3, we'll actually get our second Herald by getting Herald of Thunder. So here we got our Kabala clan relic, so we're done looking for relics in here. So if you don't find that relic before you get to the last boss, you're going to have to come back in here and grind until you find it. But now that we have the Kabala clan relic, we are good to go. And we are good to basically go find the boss, kill it, and get out of here. So again, I'm not going to play games with the ads. They like want to dive underground and play games and stuff. And I'm not going to do it. I am going to do this though, because I love blowing up all these statues. I really, really hope on our way out of this area, we find the room with all the statues in it. I'm not going to go out of my way to find it. So here's that gilded scarab I was talking about. That's actually not the one that I was talking about, sorry. It looks similar, but the other one I was talking about is actually will give you a jewel. And it's bigger. So yeah, here it is right here. So this guy right here, he's a bit of a pain to new players who don't. The reason he died so quickly there were so many enemies around him that when they all exploded, they all just did AoE damage on him and killed him. So that's why he died so quickly. That wasn't just like raw damage from me. But he gives you your first jewel in the game. Or maybe not your first jewel, but I think he's supposed to be like an intro to jewels. So from him, I got this emerald jewel. And then I love these statues. Because they just... I love this area because you have the beetles and then you have the statues. Okay, so the final area is going to be the Buried Shrine. And this area is going to lead directly into the boss.
Didn't help him.
So in this area, this is where you can find all the statues I was talking about, like the big room full of statues. I think everybody's seen it. I have a short on my YouTube channel that shows me just like blowing them all up with this exact build actually. So I'm not going to stress out about finding it, but I would love to find it because it's super fun to just blow all them up. The first time I did that room in this game, I was on a Necromancer, and they definitely killed me on that build because I did not have a lot of AoE damage at the time because I wasn't running Arsonist. I was trying out some different minions at the time because it was my first playthrough, you know. And so I was still like experimenting on which minions were best and stuff, and not saying Arsonists are best because I don't think they're the best, but I do think they're the best for the campaign. So okay. So we are just going through this area. This area is just kind of, you know, large and windy. You know, if I was a betting man, I would say the exit is probably somewhere over here. But, you know, I'm just kind of following a wall and sticking to it. And then, you know, if it leads to a dead end, I'll go a different way. And this is why I'm not a betting man, because now all of a sudden this way just opened up a ton. I thought this way was, I was like, this is for sure a dead end. There's no doubt. Like, there's not going to be anything over here. And then, of course, it opens up into this. So the dudes with the shields are not the ones I want to be hitting because they can just hold their shields up and block my attacks. And they can basically, by blocking my attacks, they can make space for all the other ads to just kind of wail on me from behind them. So we have found the final boss, the Heart of Keth. So this boss right here is actually really, really easy. I'm going to show you how to cheese him. Just attack him while he's still in his cutscene. So we're going to go up to him right now, and we're just going to start attacking. We're going to throw our bell down, and we're just going to keep attacking. We're going to throw another bell down. We're going to keep attacking. Throw another bell down, keep attacking. Another bell down, keep attacking, and then he's already almost dead by the time he comes out of this. I mean, and that's really all it takes. That boss is super easy. Talk to his mom. His mom's sitting here on the table with her guts open and stuff. I don't really know the story about these two because I haven't looked into it yet, but I would love to look into the lore of this. She is the goddess of water, but she's like so dried up that she's like basically paper. And so when you set her on fire, she just like goes up like a sheet of paper. Grab the essence of water, and now we're done. So we're done in these two areas. We have the essence of water. So the essence of water is taking up your inventory space right now. So same thing you did with the horn from the Mastodon. We're just going to talk to Zarka. First thing we're going to do is we're going to control click on the... Oh, okay. So anytime he does this, it's annoying, but we're going to identify items. If he has dialogue to say, you won't be able to control click on him. It'll happen like what just happened there. And then, so you'll get rid of your essence of water. And now I'm going to come over to my stash and just kind of put everything away that I picked up. I'm going to put this over there, and I'm going to take this jewel, and I'm going to drop it in my jewel bin with all my jewels that are going to probably sit there forever and never see the light of day. Okay, so the final part of this area, of this section, so you have the 3 different areas you had to go to. We went to the Mastodon Badlands first, then we went to Keth, and then now we're going to the Valley of the Titans. And the reason we're going to the Valley of the Titans last is because of these 2 items. We got the Kabala clan relic and we got the Sun clan relic. And now in the Valley of the Titans is where we place these relics to get a permanent buff to our character. And this is pretty cool because it's actually a buff that you can switch back and forth freely, which I'll never do. So yeah, I'll never come back here and switch it out. I doubt I ever will, unless they make the buffs better. But in this area, you basically have a couple different types of enemies, but the worst ones are these necromancers that summon the tornadoes, and they also summon all these skeletal giants. So I'm just gonna hug this wall right here, and I'm just gonna take this wall all the way around the area. Now there are 5 distinct things that we need to find inside of this area. We need to find the waypoint of this area, which is gonna be where we can put in the relics that we picked up, okay? So we need to find the waypoint. Then we need to find 3 of the, I need to drop that, that's useless. I need to find 3, I always pick up Rattling Scepters and Omen Scepters because I'm a Necromancer main. And so it's just like ingrained in my blood that if I see them, I click them immediately. Because my friends love, I sold a Rattling Scepter for 17 Divines. And I told my friends like what I did to sell it for that. And now they all pick up Rattling Scepters and stuff. And so I never get Rattling Scepters anymore. So I have to like click really, really fast. Okay, so, so here we're just following this wall, and so besides the waypoint, which we're looking for, we're also looking for 3 sills. So here is one of the sills. There are going to be 3 of these sills. So we hit 1 ancient sill.
Is this a graveyard for titans? No wonder.
And now we're just going to continue following this wall around. One of the sills will be kind of in the middle of the map, but we're just going to have to circle back around and try to find it when we're done with the ones on the outside of the map. Or it might not be the sill on the outside of the map. It might be where you put the relics. So I tell you, these necromancers are so annoying. Okay. So this area I'm fighting a little bit more than I really want to be, but it's only because the necromancers. Okay, so here's the next ancient sill. And we're just going to keep following around the outside of the map. It's going to be a big old circle. And then, so we're looking for the 3 ancient sills. We're looking for where you put the relics in. And then we're looking for the clasp pans. So those are the 5 things we're looking for on this map. Those are the 5 distinct things I was speaking of. And make sure you get all the waypoints you see, by the way, because we most likely will be using waypoints to travel around a little bit in here. Because we do have to do a bit of bat tracking when we're done with this. Assuming once we do a full loop, we don't find everything. And I doubt we'll find everything once we do a full loop. Okay. So, having a good old time with these, we got some rares over here. Just gonna make sure this isn't a dead end right here. It is. Okay. Bit annoying to kill everything in here. So this area is level 26 and I'm level 25, and I like to stay under the level of the zone I'm in. So that's why I don't want to fight too much. I don't want to gain too much XP. Okay, so now that we found three of the things we need to find, we just need to find the waypoint in this area, and then we need to find the class pans to go to the next area. And I think I actually just found the class pans. So, okay, we found the class pans right here, and so we got the checkpoint. So I'm just gonna head out. I could head into Titan Grotto and pick up the waypoint inside of there, but I have the checkpoint, and that's all that really matters because I'm just gonna use the checkpoint at the final area to go back there. Okay, so we found the waypoint, which means we found where we can put in our relics. So just drag and drop, click on this thing, and then drag and drop your relics in here. And then pick whichever one you want. 30% increased charm charges gained, or 15% increased mana recovery from flasks. It's, you know, charms are good. They help a little bit. Their buffs don't last too long. And so it can be nice to get more charges of them. But also, especially if you're using a build that does mind over matter, the increased mana recovery is nice. But mana flasks really don't recharge that much mana, even at the highest level. They don't recharge like 1,000 mana per hit. They, you know, it's like it's like 500, 400. So the 15% increase isn't as big as it seems, but the 30% increased charms isn't doesn't seem to be a game changer either. So it's not either one of them isn't the best thing ever. And you know what? There isn't a checkpoint by that waypoint, so we're just gonna walk back to Titan Grotto, which luckily is just right here, so that was really easy for us. But if you didn't get Titan Grotto as close to that as I did, it could have been, you know, quite a walk. So you could have, might have been quicker to get the waypoint. So here's the waypoint inside Titan Grotto. This map, all we're looking for is the final boss. We're not looking for any side stuff, so it's just, but this can be a very big map. I just want to check one thing real quick on this build. Okay. Just want to make sure I put the right skill gems in. This character definitely is not as strong as the last Gemling Legionary I leveled, and I don't know why. You know, I really don't know why. Like, I don't know what I did differently on my last character. Oh, wait, what level am I? Oh, I'm 25, so my helmet is starting to get really weak. So it's time to change the helmet out, and we're going to get Onslaught when we change helmet out, and that's actually going to give us a really nice movement speed upgrade and attack speed upgrade. So you can see I've already broken my own rule of sticking to a wall, and I do that sometimes by accident. So here's a nice little mana donut boss. Or I say boss rare. I think it was rare. It might have been a magic monster. I wasn't like paying tons of attention. Okay. So let me find a wall and stick to it. Okay. So, this is just gonna be looking around. This map has some of my favorite set pieces in the early game. Oof. I do not want to deal with that, actually. I need to drop a bell on that dude is what I need to do. There we go. Yeah, that lightning damage was tough. That lightning damage was real tough. That was good. Okay, so we're just gonna keep following this wall, I guess, or this path. It's a dead end, cool. Going the other way. And this looks like a dead end, but it's not. Hey, look at that. Yeah, ranged enemies are the worst. You gotta kill them first. So these dudes are like little suicide bombers, but if you can freeze them quick enough and kill them, they will die before they can explode. See, I love these set pieces of just these big old Titan battles. And then I love, like, right here, like, the head's cut off. You know, like, the thing's head's cut off and it's petrified. And you can see the petrified brain matter. And then some points you'll, like, walk over the petrified brain matter. Oh, my God. The enemies in here are actually, this is not where I experienced the challenge in the first playthrough at all. So it might be time to go look to see if I have any gear upgrades. Or I could just be under-leveled because I'm only level 25 in a 27 area. Which it's kind of better to be under-leveled in areas. So, but we are also, our helmet is also very weak right now. Like, very weak. And we won't be able to put on our new helmet till level 27. But we could go and... I'm breaking my rule of, like, following pathing because I just keep getting attacked by stuff. Okay, I'm gonna go back down here. And this isn't even, I wanted to follow that path. Okay, we're one level away now from changing our helmet out. I'm gonna go back to that path I wanted to follow. Let's go ahead and grab this +3 to all attributes. Another thing I could do is I could go get my Ascendancy right now. And we're gonna, basically my plan was to do my Ascendancy directly after this. But I wanna hit level 27 to change my helmet out before I do my Ascendancy. So we should be hitting level 27 actually relatively quickly. If not in this map, within a couple of maps from here. At least, I think probably one more area from here. Okay, we found a checkpoint, which means we might have found the boss. We did find the boss, very nice. So the first thing this boss is gonna do, he's gonna pull a sword out of his arm and he's gonna slam the sword right here. Don't be standing anywhere in the middle, and then just, he'll drag the swords to him. Now you can go up to him, hit him 4 times, then drop your bell, and then just keep dropping bells. And my attack speed is just so low. This fight, oh shit, my first death may be coming? This fight, last time I was on Gimling Legionnaire leveling, this fight was an absolute breeze. I actually have a clip of me fighting this boss, and I don't know what the difference is right here. Yeah, I just can't hit him. Like, why can't I hit this guy? There we go. Okay, it was still an easy fight. It was just long. It's really long. I'm gonna change a lot. I'm probably gonna change a lot of my strength over to Dex, because my attack speed right now is just very low. Okay, but we're done here. So we are able to teleport out. We've done everything we need to do in the 3 areas leading up to this, and now we're heading to Deshar. So from Deshar, we only have a couple more zones left inside of Act. I want to say 5 more zones inside of Act 2, and then we're done. So we got our horn.
All right, I'll do it.
We also have this helmet that I think... Oh, lagging. We have this helmet that is not, for some reason. I don't know why I have this helmet. I must have just accidentally picked it up. Let's stash away that stuff. Let's go into our leveling gear section. And let's see if we don't have an upgrade. So we are so close to being able to get this. I'm going to... So this one has regenerate 1% of life per second, but it's just not enough. I'm going to go with the elemental resist. And the shitty thing is on this helmet, I corrupted it before I put a socket in it. So had I put a socket in it, that would have been better than this one. But now it just never will be. You know, too bad. The only other things that could upgrade my defensiveness would be these. But those actually, none of these are as good as this, so we will not use that. And then another way that you can increase your defensiveness is your shoes. Shoes are a really good way of like upping your defensiveness in the end game. Or, sorry, like as you're leveling through this. Because your shoes don't have to be these unique shoes. You could actually get like good shoes that are like, you know, good. Another helmet that's pretty good is the great, the Black Suncrest helmet right here. That's a pretty good helmet to put on too if you want to put it on. So you can also check your defense to see if it goes up at all when you put this helmet on. But right now, the problem is the helmet we're wearing right now is just so not good, you know, like, but you can see it still gives us more intelligence than this helmet gives us, but our strength goes up a little bit and our dex goes up just a little bit, but we're still going to be putting on that onslaught helmet when we get to the right level, right? So I'm going to go back to leveling gear. So this will go back in my leveling gear set. And don't get me wrong, intelligence is very, very important for this character. I'm just not stacking it right now. Like I said, eventually, though, I will switch every single node I have, like all the small nodes, to intelligence nodes. Okay, so now we're heading back to Traitor's Passage, and we're going to blow the horn to get rid of all the sand from earlier. So earlier, we fought that boss, and that sand wall stopped us. Now we can blow this horn to get rid of it.
Just assholes all round.
Okay. Now we talk to the Sekima again.
I'm hesitant.
And she tells us to use the map to travel to Deshar. Deshar is going to be, sometimes it's on, anytime I'm in Cruel, it's on the left side. Anytime I'm in Normal, it's on the right side. But I think it's random where these different nodes can pop up, like on this map. I don't know why it's random. I don't know why it isn't just set in certain locations. It was something they were going for. I don't think it works. But anyways, it's whatever. It's not the end of the world, so I'm not going to bitch about it too much. I'm going to bitch about it all night. Okay, I'm just kidding.
Find a way up, I suppose.
Okay, so make sure you hit your waypoint and your checkpoint. And inside of Deshar, we're looking for a dead body, and we're looking for the exit. Now, if you look at the map on Deshar, you'll see you have the Watchful Twins, and you have the final letter. You want to get the final letter because it gives you something. The Watchful Twins just gives you another trial of the Sekima to do, which it won't give you any more Ascendancy points, so what's the point in, like, don't worry about doing the Watchful Twins. If you find them, kill them. But if you don't, like, I'm not gonna go out of my way to find them, but if I find them, I'll kill them, you know? Like, that's my basic rule for those guys, because they're not that important. Okay. So here we are going through Deshar, looking for that dead body. And the exit. Yeah, I didn't even finish that guy off, just left him frozen. You know, it's so funny, in the first game, these guys right here with the spikes had the worst on-death effect in the game. That on-death effect where they shoot spikes everywhere killed me more than any other on-death effect in PoE 1. And in this game, they don't even have an on-death effect. Okay, little birdies want to fight. A lot of dead ends here. But again, I'm just kind of following a wall and just using my Ice Strike ability to kill everything in giant clumps. The more stuff is clumped up, the better for this build. You know, which kind of makes it a bit difficult with ranged enemies. Like, all of these enemies are ranged. You know, well, these guys are melee, but I mean, you got all these birds just shooting stuff at range. You got spiders, you got scorpions, and they're all just... They're stopping and they're just shooting stuff at ranged, you know? And it's like, okay, well, you know, I guess we'll all just be ranged characters. Except for me, I'll be a melee character. So, it looks like right down here I missed like 1 pixel. You can see like, oh, a little tiny pixel missing, and it looks like that might be a new area. So we got a level 8 skill gem. Let's see if we can actually use it. We can, so we can upgrade our Ice Strike. And we're just going to continue looking around for the letter and the exit. Okay. Whoo, do. So I kind of went off the wall that I was tracing. Remember, never leave superior items behind. Hey, we have our first Essence monster of the walkthrough, so I guess I'll do the Essence monster just to show you. But basically, you triple tap on the Essence monster and it opens up the Essence, and that you kill the monster and you get to pick up an Essence off the ground. You'll always get the Essence it said it had. Sometimes it'll say it has 2, maybe 3, and the normal Essences aren't that powerful, but they are good crafting materials. But the greater Essences, especially the greater Essences of Haste and the greater Essences of Torture or Torment, are very good. So also Lightning Essences are pretty good too, because sorcerers use them. So okay, so here are the Watchful Twins. I accidentally found them, so we'll go ahead and kill them. They're pretty simple bosses. You go up and they'll pop out, and they just do a lot of melee damage. And I'm gonna attempt to face tank them and kill them, but we'll see what happens. Just dropping bells on them, knocking them out. One's dead, the other one's gonna die pretty soon. And as long as I get bells down on them, I'm doing a ton of damage to them. Again, my attack speed is very low, and we need to fix that ASAP. And all they give you is another of these. You don't need another one, though, because you already have a level 22 with 1 trial. And if you have a second, like level 28 with 1 trial, who needs that? That's not going to give you any more Ascendancy points than the first one. The only thing you could possibly get out of there that would be a little bit useful would be relics that you could use in future ones. But even then, it's such low level, you're not going to get any good relics, most likely. So personally, I think the Watchful Twins are kind of a waste of time. But let's say you skipped Baba Ganoush. Well, I think you have to. Actually, pretty sure you have to kill Baba Ganoush to be able to do the trial. So, but maybe you could just kill them and get a thing and go do the trial with that. But I don't know. I think you have to kill Baba Ganoush, because Baba Ganoush is your guide. She's like your guide inside of that. So we have to go back to Deshar. But since we found the Path of Mourning, I'm just going to run in and grab the waypoint. So I grabbed the waypoint, now I'm heading right back out. And the reason I'm heading back out into Deshar is we still need to find the final letter. So the final letter is the dead body with a letter called the final letter. And it completes a mission called the final letter that gives you 2 skill points. So that's why we have to do it. Okay. So. Yeah. I hear you. And it's just, at this point, it's just kind of look around for the letter. If I had to guess, I would say it's somewhere up here for me, but again, I've lost too many bets on where I thought stuff was in this game to say it's for sure. But what I am going to do is I'm going to kind of stick to this area, and I'm going to just head north, and we of course found her immediately, so that worked out really well for me. So now, since I got the waypoint in the next area, I'm not even going to try to find a checkpoint to travel back. I'm just going to create a town portal. And I'm just going to teleport to the Path of Mourning. So very cool. So that's why I went into that area. Very quickly, I'm going to refund a couple of passives, and I'm just going to get some dexterity instead of strength. And I'm going to try to increase my attack speed a decent amount. I don't know why my attack speed is so low right now, but it's very bad. Okay, we're going to get that, and then we're also going to get 2% of damage based on your lowest attribute. So it's 2% increased damage per 5 of your lowest attribute. So mine is right now Intelligence. and my intelligence is really low. It's only 35. So I'm only going to get 7 times 14% increased damage off of this. But eventually, when all of my stats are above 100, this will give a lot more damage increase. Okay. So maybe I'll do a couple more dex nodes. This will be taking away the damage I'm doing, but it's going to increase the attack speed. And honestly, like, my attack speed right now is just so low. So you can see... well, I guess I should have shown here. So if we go to strength and we hit that, you'll see it went up just a little bit. So now it's at 1685. And then if we go back to dex, it'll go down to 1658. So it is a little tiny minor decrease in damage, but my attack speed is just too low right now. Okay, so we are done in... We really didn't need to even come in here except to teleport to the Path of Mourning. There's nothing inside the Path of Mourning we're looking for. There's no side stuff. There's no extra skill points. There's none of that. We could have given that lady the final letter. Oh, we can also switch to our next helmet. So we got the Onslaught helmet. So now we're going to have even more attack speed and movement speed. So you can see I'm not quite one-shotting enemies anymore. But hopefully that will lead to better boss fights. Which is what I'm hoping for. So you can see, but we're starting to move a lot quicker. And that is Onslaught working its magic right there. Okay. But eventually we will put back on the Black Crest helmet. But we won't put the Black Crest helmet back on until we move into like our in-game build. And we start stat stacking a lot more, because once you stack a lot more stats, that helmet's a lot better. But right now, just the raw movement speed and attack speed off this helmet's really good. Why am I kind of... Oh, there were enemies just like that I couldn't see in the door, so I couldn't go through the door. So again, in this area, we're not looking for anything except for the exit. So you can see all these enemies are moving very slowly. So unless they're in your way, you really don't have to pay them any mind. Oh my god. I just realized I never switched to Ice Strike. That's why this has been going so slow. Oh my god, that's why my damage was so bad. I'm a moron. I never switched to Ice Strike. Oh my god. Oh my god. That is fucking crazy. I never switched to Ice Strike. That explains so much why these fights have been so slow. I've been like, yo, why is my attack speed so slow? It feels so weird compared to like the other time I did this. I never switched to the Ice Strike skill. I had quarterstaff strike. I had the basic quarterstaff attack on the whole time. I'm an idiot. Oh my god. I'm gonna have to make an intro to this video just to explain that. So I can say like, oh my god, I forgot to switch to Ice Strike. So this is the final area of Deshar. And we're looking for two things in here. We're looking for, and you know, I knew that Ice Strike had a teleport. See how I'm kind of like teleporting around? Oh my god, I cannot believe myself. That is so funny. So now we could probably go back and put a lot more of those points back into strength to scale our damage more. I am dumb. I am real dumb. You can also see my mana usage has gone through the roof. I was wondering, like, I was like, man, I'm not using any mana at all. Like, that's crazy. I'm so stupid. Okay, so what we're looking for in here is we're looking for the Sisters, which are going to give us 10% increased lightning resistance, and we're looking for the final boss of this area. Okay, we found the Sisters. You can always tell it's the Sisters because you'll have a checkpoint in the corner. So this is called the Shrine of the Six Sisters, or the Sisters, and then the Six Sisters bless the worthy. So what you have to do, you have to come up here, you have to click this item, and then all of these little statues are going to come alive. And once you kill all the statues in this area, oh, sorry, we actually already received plus 10% lightning resist. You can see down there in the corner. So you don't have to kill anything in here. You just have to hit that thing, and then you're free to go. Oh my god, now I gotta go back and switch all those points to strength real quick. So dumb. So dumb. I cannot believe I did that. I just wasn't paying attention. So, okay, well, I'm not gonna remake this whole series, but I will go in and add a addendum to the beginning and to where I bought Ice Strike in the first video and say like, oh, don't forget to actually put Ice Strike on. But I mean, even without Ice Strike, you saw how easy it was. I was using literally the basic quarterstaff attack throughout this entire video series so far, and I was still beating all the bosses and doing just fine without like Ice Strike, which is our actual main damage dealing ability. So funny, and by funny I mean I cannot believe I did that. Okay, so now the only thing we're looking for is the final boss of this area. So you can see that our mana usage has gone down quite a bit, and that's because our attack speed has gone down quite a bit. So I wanted our attack speed to go down, because now that we're actually using Ice Strike, our attack speed is really high. And I was saying earlier, you know, I was saying like, man, I don't know why my attack speed feels so slow. Like, it definitely felt way better than this the first time I did this build. And that's why, because I'm an idiot. Yep. Okay, well, I'm dumb, but hey, there's some points for everybody else. Okay, so we made it to the final boss. Let's go ahead and throw on, we're gonna go take this tree. Oh, I still have dex nodes over here that I didn't see. So we're gonna head down here, we're gonna get some more strength, and we're actually gonna head right here and we're gonna get all this strength down here.
But that makes you predictable. The time
Predictable.
of the Paladin is nigh.
Me predictable. This boss is really fun. So this boss does a frontal slam and a backward slam, and then he shoots fire everywhere. He also sweeps his arms around. He borrows a lot from Kativa. So there's his frontal slam. You can just kind of see he just kind of slams his head down on the ground. He also does a backward slam where he slams his head backwards on the ground. So that was another frontal head slam. He just turned around to do it. And so now I'm just kind of damaging him. The biggest worry you have with this build at this point is running out of mana during a boss fight. If you run out of mana, you're kind of fucked. So you gotta kind of go quick on boss fights to not deal with that. So you can see he left these big burning grounds on the ground, so don't stand inside the burning ground. And then he also does like these sweeps where he sweeps you with his arm, and then he does like fire blasts. And then he does another one where he just kind of does a flamethrower around the room. Just run away from the flamethrower, you know, just run in a circle. Shouldn't be a big deal at all, should be pretty easy. Okay, but now that we're done with him, all we have to do is go back to the caravan, and we have 2 zones left in Act 2. That's it. So all we have left in Act 2 is 2 of the Dreadnought zones, and at the end of the second Dreadnought zone, you will get a final boss. Before that, we are going to go get our first Ascendancy in the game. So we're going to give her the final letter. Don't forget about that. That final letter will give you this book that you can use to get skill points. And then also Zarka has a reward for me, I guess, which is just a support gem, which I don't care about. And we're just going to start dropping stuff in here. Let's go see if any of this is superior. Deconstruct the superior stuff and throw away everything else. And then I guess I'll deconstruct the magic stuff too. So this flask is better than my flask, so we will use the new flask. Destroy the old flask. We have a level 8 skill gem, which I think can level up our Tempest spell. And we can also take this helmet and we can put it back into our leveling gear. Which actually doesn't come from a leveling gear, it comes from our in-game gear. Because it's actually a really good helmet. in-game if you're stat scaling. So right here, actually both of our skills are already level 8, so we can just throw this in our stash. And it is time to go to our Ascendancy. So, here is where we do the first Ascendancy. This Ascendancy is very easy, but it could also be seen as a bit of a pain. And how you get there is you find the Trial of the Sekimas, and then you just hit the little travel tube with the caravan. And then we're just going to wait for this thing to come to a standstill, and we're going to go outside. And that's going to be it. Once we get in here, it is just a straight shot to where you activate the trial. So grab your waypoint and then just keep on going.
A man can hope.
So you can speak to Baba Ganoush. So there's the little token. And then Baba Ganoush is going to pop out somewhere. And I'll just go ahead and grab two extra skill points real quick. And then we're pretty close. We're only 2 skill points away from getting into this tree where we have a 25 strength and then 4 8 strengths. So pretty good area for stat stacking. And that'll take our strength up quite a bit.
We have met in battle, but not in peace. I am Balbala.
Balbala, Baba Ganoush. Baba Ganoush. So go ahead and insert your trial token. So all you have to do is control click it and it'll go right in. And then it'll open up this little chest area. And inside of this little chest area, you can place relics. So she just gave you a relic. And this relic that I just got gives me hits against you have a 13% reduced critical damage bonus. And I get 7% of my honor restored. I assume honor restored refers to like when I get a, when I use like a shrine to restore my honor, it gives me 7% extra. We can see if any of this is worth using. These are just old ones I have. I mean, I'll do Honor Resistance. Honor Resistance is really good. I could also upgrade this with a transmutation, but I'm not going to. Honor Resistance makes it where you take less damage to your honor. So that's actually really good. It's one of the best things you can do. Stacking like a ton of Honor Resist is really strong. But I will run you through the very first Trial of the Sekima. So this is the Trial of Strength. Trial of Strength.
Here goes nothing.
So, going into the first room, you are just going to be given a random trial, which I already have been hit, so fuck me. So in this trial, the goal is just this is an escape trial, and your goal is to just find the exit, right? But in trials like this, what you have to do is you have to find levers to open different areas, and then that will, like right here, this is locked, I need to get through that area. So I go this way, I find a lever, but then this is gonna close, and I'm gonna have to go back around. So see, that closed. Now I gotta go back around to get back to the exit that I just left behind. And you can dodge roll through these fires. If you want to, you can also go into rooms like this with treasure and see if you get anything worth having. So this is just a level 6 skill gem, so not worth it. And then we just kind of continue to follow this fire. Again, you can dodge roll through this fire if you want to. I'm not stressing about it. By the way, your honor is based off of how much health you have. So it's a mixture of your health and your max energy shield. So you can see I have 921 health, 49 energy shield, and I come out to 970 honor. So honor is an additional resource you have to manage. A percentage of the damage you take will be taken from your honor. If honor reaches 0, the trial's failed. So the more health you have and the more energy shield you have, the higher honor you'll have. So these little things are really easy to avoid, even though I got hit by one like 2 seconds ago. Basically, once they start shaking, they're about to pop up, and then once they pop up, you can just run through them, no problem. Sacred Water. Sacred Water is your currency inside the Trial of Sekima. So once you get to the trial map, you'll be able to see 2 rooms ahead of yourself. So this is 2 rooms ahead. Right now, I'm right here in this room right here. I'm in the very first Gauntlet Trial area. Oh, sorry, it wasn't an escape trial, it was a Gauntlet Trial. So now I can see this is the next stuff I need to do, and it has negative. So, afflicts you with red smoke, room types are unknown on the trial map. That's really bad in my opinion, because I want to see, that means like where it says ritual trial right there, or gauntlet trial, or chalice trial, I won't know which one I'm about to do. And then right here it says bronze key, afflicts you with iron manacles on entry. You have no evasion. Well, that's great. Fuck, it's not great. I have 48% evasion, so maybe I don't want to take that. Normally I have no evasion. And then 25% less max honor, I really don't want that. So honestly, I'll just take evasion because I don't want to get hit by stuff anyway. Like getting hit by stuff takes my honor away. So this was another gauntlet trial. So I should have noted that before I came in here. So basically, gauntlet trials are always kind of like, there are traps and stuff, and then there's also levers you have to go do. So I ran over to the left, I hit the lever, and now this door opened right here. And by the way, enemies drop sacred water too, so I just picked some up off the ground. So there's a trap, there's a shut door right there, so I gotta go back and find another lever. And that lever could be right here, or it could be all the way around the other side. So it's gonna be all the way around the other side. So I just gotta kind of avoid these traps and get around, and this fire's gonna get me. Okay, enemies in here. Your best move in the gauntlet trial is to just kill the enemies as quickly as you can while avoiding their attacks, because they can kind of chase you around and get you from behind. If you do want to run past enemies, it's not the end of the world to do that. Oh, you see, I didn't even have to hit all of the levers. I actually just found the exit with only hitting one lever. So I got a bronze key from doing that, but I also got my first negative affliction. So right here, I got my first negative affliction, which is I have no evasion. So now I can see the next room. The next rooms have no negative effects, right? But I don't just want to pick the next room. I want to pick 2 rooms ahead, okay? So I want to do either Restoring Honor or Sacred Water. So honestly, I kind of like the idea of getting a Sacred Water plus another Sacred Water, and that's going to give me a lot of currency to be able to buy stuff from vendors. But I also like this bronze key room. I don't want to do this ritual trial right here because it afflicts me with fiendish wings, which it's not bad. Like, it just gives monsters increased attack speed and stuff. And just, I'm going to try to avoid any negatives I can. So what I'm probably going to do is I'm probably going to go Hourglass Trial Sacred Water down to Ritual Trial Sacred Water. And I still almost have max honor, so I'm not going to refill my honor with an honor shrine. So in the sand Hourglass Trial, this is a time trial. So you just stay in this small little area and you have to stay alive throughout the entire trial. Monsters appear, kill the monsters as quickly as you can. The only thing that really hurts me in here is range monsters sometimes. So using the gap closer from Ice Strike is really, really strong in this room, because it stops these range monsters from being able to kill me. And this part right here, this is kind of tough because a rare came out. And so with the rares, I gotta watch out for the rares, but then I also have to watch out for all the little ranged enemies popping out around me. Luckily, this was a very quick trial, so I didn't have to stay alive for too long. I honestly thought I was only like 10% of the way into it when it ended. So it was a lot shorter than I thought it was gonna be. So we got some Sacred Water, and again, Sacred Water is your currency. So right here, I have 642 Sacred Water right now, and you can use your currency at a vendor. So right here, if I go to this next ritual trial, which is going to give me Sacred Water, my only room I'm going to be able to go to after that is going to be this gold cache room, and I don't have a gold key, so I'm not going to be able to open this, right? So that's actually not a great room to go into, but these 2 rooms both restore honor, and then they both lead to this gauntlet trial, which can change the parameters of the trial. And so it's kind of like if any of these are a merchant, because once if I go here, I have to go here. And then if I go here, I have 2 choices, and then I have a couple more choices after that. So there could be a merchant somewhere in here that I could get, and the more Sacred Water I have, the more stuff I can buy from the merchant. So this is going to be a single room trial. This is just going to be kill that group of enemies because I had a rare, and then get through the next thing. Sometimes when you do that trial, there's more than just one of them. But if there's more than one of those little portals, it's easier. Like, the monsters are easier to kill. There's not like a little mini boss. So right here, we can see that we didn't get lucky. We didn't get a merchant. So we're just going to go, obviously we have to go to the gold key room, but we won't decide where we're going to go here until we're here, because I want to see what is going on up there. So this is an hourglass trial again. So that means we're going to flip the hourglass, and there's going to be a timer for us to stay alive. So this timer is 1 minute, and I actually don't know if the last timer was a minute or not. but it didn't feel like a minute to me. So you can see that I'm actually down to 914 honor. So I got hit somewhere in the last trial. I wasn't paying enough attention. And I really wasn't paying attention because I don't even know. Okay, so you see those range attacks coming in. Got to get ready for those range attacks. But I also have to worry about this this rare enemy over here. Oh, I almost got hit again. This rare enemy, if I don't kill him quickly, he is going to cause me problems. So I was able to use the ice explosions from the small enemy to kill him quickly. And that is much better for me. Oh, okay, I thought I got hit, but I didn't. Trial complete. Let's grab our sacred water. Oh, actually, it's a gold chest, but we don't have a gold key, so we can't open this chest. So now, okay, there is no merchant that we can get. Cool. So these are both exactly the same, except this one doesn't give me spiked exit. Spiked exit will make me take 19 physical damage, which also hurts my honor. So I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to go through this room. And it's going to restore my honor, but it's also going to give me an affliction. So I'm probably not even going to do it. I'm not even going to like take the bonus honor. I'll just go out with, unless I take a lot of honor damage in this room, I'm not going to get it. So there is a chance that, let's say I get hit by something big in here and I take like 100 honor damage, like right there when I almost run into fire. Maybe I'll get that bonus and take the negative. But unless I'm low on honor, there's really no point in doing it. Because it's just a big old negative with very little... Because you don't know what that negative is going to be. That negative could be literally like, oh, bosses take decreased 40% damage. And it's just like, oh, well, then okay, well, I just took a hit there, but not for much honor. Well, if bosses take 40% decreased less damage, that could be the difference between you killing the boss quickly and you having to deal with multiple phases and have more chances to lose more honor. And against a boss, that could be worse. You know, it's going to be worse than against all these minions. Okay, that was a little bit scary because that dude was standing right there about to shoot me. Oop, oop. Okay, I dodged that. And this should be the end of the trial right here. We should be pretty close to the end at least. Yeah, here it is. Okay, so in this room, I'm going to... So right here, I have a choice. I can get my honor. I can pay 5 sacred water. And I can get 200 honor, which would overcap me. I only need 73 honor to get capped. And I get a random minor affliction. Well, you see, this minor affliction is I have no evasion. So it could be really bad. Like, that minor affliction could really, really hurt me. So I'm not going to do it. So this room is going to give me... It's an escape trial, which is one of my favorite trial types. And it's going to give me a affliction, which I get leaky water skin, which I lose 20 sacred water every time I take a hit from an enemy. But the goal is to not take hits from enemies, so that really doesn't change my main objective. So escape trial is really simple. You hit the thing and then it kind of shows you where you need to go. And you just kind of like, I don't like to stop to kill too many enemies in here. I like to just like run through it as quick as I can. The only exception is if I think enemies are clustering up a little too much. Okay, I need to go down. Okay, here we go. Now I'm continuing, like, at least that didn't, okay, that didn't do any damage to me, but I think I did lose some sacred water there. And the only reason sacred water is important if you don't find a merchant is you can save sacred water for future runs, I'm pretty sure, but you can also spend your sacred water at the end of the trial to get relics, boons, or to get keys. You can get, I'll show you at the end, but you can get a bunch of stuff with your sacred water even after the trial's over. So we're almost done here. So now we're heading into the final boss, if I'm not mistaken. So let's grab our bronze key. And now we have leaky water skin. So we're heading into Rattlecage, which is the last boss. Rattlecage does a lot of AoE damage around him. He does a lot of fire damage. I'm basically going to face tank him and just deal with the consequences. But you should kind of hide from him. So I'm just going to keep dropping bells, and you see he's doing AoE damage all around himself, which is causing me a lot of damage. And I am losing sacred water more than I'm losing anything, but I knew that I had the damage to just face tank him and kill him, so that's what I did. So we got, always pick up your relics from here because they don't actually go into your main inventory. You can take the skill gem if you want to, but I'm not going to take the sockets or anything. Okay, so now the first thing you do anytime you're done with your trials, grab your Ascendancy points, because you never know when your Ascendancies are going to like fail on you. Like when it's gonna bug out and you're gonna crash out right when you finish the trial. So Baba Ganoush, you can talk to her when you're done with the trial too. And so here's where you can use some of your sacred water, and you can purchase relics from her. So you can see like 12% increased maxed honor. That's a pretty good relic that I don't have yet. And then you know, whatever. But I'm not gonna get any of those because I know I'm not gonna be doing the that. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use the Keth Forge, and I'm gonna convert all my sacred water to keys. And you can see I got 2 extra bronze key, or 1 extra bronze key from that, so I didn't get it. Sometimes I get like 3 gold keys, so I got unlucky. And didn't really get anything from there. I didn't expect to either, by the way. And then you have your relic chest. So go back to the beginning of the Trial of Sekhmet, and you can put all of your relics into your relic locker, so they don't have to take up space in your actual main inventory. They can just go right in there. And so now that we're done here, I already picked up my Ascendancy points, but I haven't plugged them in yet. And what I'll be doing is I'll be going here first for inherent bonuses from Strength, Intelligence, Dexterity, or doubled. And then I'll be going to, you can use 2 copies of the same support gem in different skills. I really, really, really like this skill. I think it's stronger than this one. But I went this way the first time I did this build leveling, so now I'm going to try the other way and see what happens. I'm going to see if it's actually better. Maybe the other way's better first. Okay, so now we only have 2 more zones left in Act 2. So let's hit this salvage bench. Let's get rid of that. And for some reason, it gave me an artificer scrap. That is not what I wanted out of that. I wanted a armor scrap. I mean, I had a socket in it, but I assumed the quality would be more important than the socket. Okay, so you talk to the Sekima, and then we're heading to right here. This is going to be the Dreadnought. And let's head out to the Dreadnought. And you can tell, like, the first couple things in here, 3% increase to attributes is nice, but then attribute requirements of gens can be satisfied by your highest attribute. That's basically useless for us. But it is nice. You can see now we can have 42 support gems of every color, you know, which is like whatever. The only thing we didn't have a lot of yet was our intelligence, but it's okay. So the only thing we really get off of that increase was the 3% attributes. Okay, so the Dreadnought is one of those maps that's very annoying. There's very few areas on the Dreadnought that I think are like kind of difficult. Like the area we just passed through could be one of them. But I'll admit, like, it is a very difficult area, and as a new player in this area, this was one of the harder parts of Act 2. But with this build that I've given you, you should be able to fly through this area super quick. And by when I say I gave it to you, praise Palestron. I really don't know how to say his name, sorry. But his build, and I think he did such a great job of coming up with a great leveling build that can be used on any class. And I highly recommend, if you're still following this guide and you haven't watched his video yet, you go watch his video, because he really goes in depth on this leveling build and the different gear you need and stuff to get through the campaign. So basically all I'm doing right now is I'm just kind of jumping from one pack to the next. And the only reason this build does really well on the Dreadnought is because everything clusters so much. And so you can kind of explode stuff. And you see right there, that stuff didn't cluster. And it took me longer to kill this stuff individually than it does to do a cluster. And the reason that is because I don't need to kill everything in a cluster. I just need to kill one thing. And then it explodes and does damage to everything else. So the weakest enemy dies first and explodes everybody else. Whereas if something's by itself and it has a little bit more health than another enemy that I would have been killing, it just takes, you know, it takes even longer to kill it because it's not getting those explosions off. I kept trying to kill her. Okay, this area, you kind of get attacked by a bunch of enemies at once. It can be a little bit annoying, but with our build, nothing's annoying. So, we're on to the second part of the Dreadnought. So in the second part of the Dreadnought, you kind of get attacked early on. I mean, Jesus Christ, early on. I mean, look at this. This is non-stop enemies at the beginning. I definitely see why I had such a hard time on this the first time I played through, and why other people have a hard time on it too. This has been consistently an area that I've heard newer players bring up, but now that I'm kind of experienced a little bit more, this area is actually kind of like what I think is a much simple, like a very simple, straightforward, just get in there and kill enemies and keep moving area. And it's not difficult to navigate either, because there's really very few areas. It's just one path, you know. That's not hitting him. Yeah, I'm only dropping my bell for rares. Some rares, obviously, not that one. The more enemies, like the more ads rares have around them, the easier they are to kill. So like right here, this room with all these dead bodies, I can't tell you how many times I died in here because of exactly what just happened right there, which is where I just get bum rushed by a bunch of people. So the area with all the dead burning bodies, that was an area that I remember being kind of like, being, you know, an area that like sticks out in my memory from my first playthrough. Why do I pick up support gems still? I don't know. Because I have so many uncut skill gem level 3s, it's like, between my guild bank and my personal bank, it's just a lot. Okay. I mean, it's just so beautiful when everything starts exploding. The Sekima got in my way there, so I didn't teleport forward. Bell. Okay, so we made it to the final boss of Act 2. Let's go ahead and head in. Saddle of the Dreadnought. Okay, very quickly, I'm going to, yeah, I know what he is.
You'll find my king far more capable than Count Gianor. My king, take the power you were promised. Put an end to this.
Oh, look at the beast. He's actually like growing ahead and stuff. No. So this boss is pretty easy. He has a bunch of electric stuff to start with. So those little electric beams he put out right here, don't stand near those because lightning comes out of those. And I was standing pretty far away. Whenever he does this air, you just got to stand behind the Sekima shield, and then all these little ads come out. I've had friends who have said this fight's bugged out for them, and the Sekima's dropped her shield, and then the air just goes on forever. So I've never been able to recreate that bug, so I don't know what exactly that bug is. But I believe my friends, so that could happen to you. So we have phased this boss to the next area. I have 3 skill points to put in. Let me go ahead and put those in real quick. So we are going to go over here. We're almost to these strength nodes. We'll be getting inside of them right now, actually. And we'll actually get our 25 strength real quick, and then we'll grab these 3. And then the next area we're heading to is we're going to head this way, and we're going to head all the way around until we get towards this quarterstaff. Once we get towards this quarterstaff, we're going to go this way and grab these dexterity nodes. And inside the quarterstaff, we're also going to get the increased defensives when you have a quarterstaff equipped, because you need a little bit of defense on this build, just a little bit. So this is the second part. He summons sand tornadoes, and he also does like blasts in front of himself. But your basic gist with this build that we're doing with on this character, drop your bells, keep swinging, drop a bell, keep swinging, drop a bell, keep swinging, and then get away whenever a tornado's near you. And if he does this right here, that's where he just starts shooting spikes all around him. And now he's summoning down lightning on top of himself, or on top of where those little lines are. Get away from him. He also does an attack where he opens up a giant portal and all those little spikes start flying out. And so you just need to stay outside the line of that. And so, right there. Where did that spike come from? Okay, well anyway, Sekima's gonna chop his head off. like a real G.
It is done.
Yeah, it is done. So we are done with Act 2. That was basically all you need to do, but let's head back to the area and let's get to Act 3. And area, I mean the caravan. The first thing we're going to do inside the caravan is we're going to go find the hooded one. So you basically just head back to where Zarka is, and then you head northeast, and you just kind of head out of the caravan. It's kind of parked somewhere, and you just keep walking this way, and eventually you'll find the hooded one, and the hooded one's going to tell you a big old secret.
I like to know.
He's going to say, do you know who I am? And I'll be like, yeah, I had a theory. And then boom, I was right. It was Sin the whole time.
A god. It was I who all
So anyways, I'd like it to actually say his name Sin now instead of the hooded one, but I assume they'll patch that in the future. But now that we're done figuring out who the hooded one is, which it was pretty obvious he was Sin, but they were like trying to play it like, oh, he could be somebody different. I kind of expected them to do a switcheroo and for us to think it was Sin and then it actually be Innocence. But, you know, it turned out to be Sin, so...
The beast has grown too powerful.
Okay, so now we're heading into Act 3. That was it for Act 2. That was a full walkthrough of Act 2, and I did more than half of Act 2 with just the basic quarterstaff attack equipped instead of Ice Strike. Don't do that. Make sure when you go through it, you actually equip Ice Strike. And now, in the next video, we're going to head into Act 3. And I guess I should skip that so I can stop yelling as much. But we're heading into Act 3. This is the beginning of Act 3. We're going to go from a desert environment to a jungle environment. And thank you so much for watching. If you're still here, please leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think of the series. I'm thinking about doing another series where I level a brand new character with no extra gear and just kind of go through that process of, hey, here's a brand new character, it has no gear, you have no currency, make it through. But this is an alt leveling build, so you actually do need to buy the gear that I've specified. But it's all very cheap gear, so it's not that big a deal. Anyways, give me any comments down below. Let me know how I'm doing, and I will see you in Act 3.